Well, hello, my Jedi friends. Today I decided I've got to go live. I've got to go live. I was going to go out for a walk. In fact, I am going to go out for a walk as soon as this finishes. But I felt the urge, I felt the energy that I needed to go live now, because I put this prompt that I've got into Grok just to work out what people want to know about the target audience that I work with. What do they want to know about? And it came up with all this Starseed, Lionsgate activation stuff. And I thought that sounds a little bit out there, but let's roll with it. Let's roll with it. Let's see where it goes. Now it dawned on me, probably the most important thing that I'll tell you, and I'll tell you this off the bat. So if you don't want to listen for long, you'll get it straight away. In energy, you've got Reiki masters, vortex healing masters, all these masters, they'll activate you for all these great attunements in energy. You will be activated. The master will place their hand upon you. They will give you the healing touch. And you will pay for the privilege. When in actual fact, you can attune yourself. Don't tell them, Adam. Don't tell them that. They'll never go to a training again. Well, the fact is, it doesn't matter. I can tell you this stuff because I can tell you everything that you need to know to get started with energy, but you'll still at some stage you'll hit a brick wall. Everyone does when they work with energy, when they start activating themselves, when they start getting the word out, when they start being the Jedi Master that they came here to be. Absolutely. But the point being that there's a lot of people that would disempower you by thinking you can't be activated, you can't energize until you get your attunement. And the fact is, you are each your own guru. That is the main thing. If there's one thing you'll take out of this video, you are your own guru. That's it. There's so many people out there with so many opinions that will teach you so many things about energy that may uplift you, that may be good, that may not be good. But the point being, there's a lot of conflicts of interest and there's a lot of different opinions. There are a lot of different opinions, my Jedi friends, about all things energy and working with energy. And that is the reality of it. And are you activated? Well, the fact is, maybe you were activated. Maybe you were triggered. Maybe that's your activation. It's like, am I activated? Well, the point being that you're as activated as you're ready to be. And the thing is, it's you that activates yourself. You either step up or you don't. There you go. Job done. Message complete. And I've done it in under 3 minutes. So if you want to stay on and listen to more, then I can easily talk for a little bit longer. But that is the main message, that you are your own guru. You're your own energy master. You have all of the answers when working with energy, stepping up, awakening, and activation within you. Now, let me talk about the symptoms of what will happen before you get this, just so that you know. You can align. What are the symptoms, Adam? Okay, so here is what I'm guessing most of my target audience, most starseeds, are actually coming to terms with. The first thing is you came here with no idea why you're here. You spent most of your life at least intermittently questioning why you're here. You still don't know, maybe. You still haven't fully woken up to it, but you've been questioning. It doesn't feel right. You feel a little bit out of sorts on this planet. You're seeing the escalating lunacy and things aren't feeling right. You've been feeling out of kilter lately. You're starting to see things differently. You're starting to wake up. And what's been happening because of the vibrational rays, if you're not living your true purpose, what the life will do is just give you this set of circumstances that start collapsing your life. It'll be your own twin towers. It'll be collapsing, absolutely collapsing around you. So it could be your family relationships. It could be your close personal relationships. It could be your work relationships. All of these will just suddenly start to collapse on you. You might lose people that you're really close to that might be dying. You might feel lonely, lost, and isolated. These are all symptoms. These are what happens if you haven't woken up, that can happen. It just feels like one at a time, your whole world starts to collapse in on you. You feel lost, lonely, and isolated. And not only that, but you start waking up and seeing the world differently to everyone else around you. And you start to wonder what is going on. You might even start to question your sanity on this journey. You'll certainly question why you're here. What is it all about? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? What is going on? These are very common symptoms, my Jedi friends, for starseeds. Start waking up. Waking up. The awakening process is brutal. And I use the word starseeds. There's all sorts of words for it. Empaths, highly sensitive people, good people, usually the rock, the person who's the mediator in the family, the person that everyone goes to if there's an argument, the person with the most level head in the game here, the person who often represses their own angry feelings for the good of the many, the person who puts everybody else's needs before them most of the time. But what the awakening is this is time to wake up and to start prioritizing your own energy, your own well-being. Start to embrace the fact that you are the person that's the most important in the universe, and you actually came here for a reason. You came here for a reason. And what often happens, I used to work, here's a little bit of an insight. In my former life, I worked as a nurse, and I worked with a lot of people facing death. And one of the big mistakes I used to see is people that were people pleasers, that spent their whole life putting everybody else's needs first. And they feel really lost, lonely, and sometimes angry at the end of their lives because they didn't get this. I've got Tom Mack in the house. Tom, I love energy. Well done, Tom. You know the energy. Now that you're here, I strongly suspect we're going to go down a different energy route. Cuts through bone like butter. Absolutely. Well, welcome back in the house, Tom. You know what could happen here. I've done my serious bit. I've actually got my message across. I thought I'd get it in early, just in case we went down this route. And to those that are new to my streams and new to Tom jumping on, we usually have a laugh. And in previous streams, we've talked about Star Wars, obviously, do a bit of Jedi stuff. We talk about stuff like that. And we were also talking about the film Snatch. So I put Tom onto a video called Snatch Wars. And so there could be quite a few references to Snatch Wars where they've turned Darth Vader into Bricktop, who's a gangster. He's a proper geezer. You're on thin ice, my pedigree chum. I shall be underneath it when it breaks. So this is just a classic example for people that are in this zone. You've got to keep your sense of humor. So I found when I first went into the world of energy, that everyone's so serious. They're so bloody serious. It's like, oh no. It's like they have to validate themselves by being really serious, by saying serious things, by looking uber serious. Now, I just wonder, would it actually help if I made my message a lot more serious? If we do the serious messaging. You can do it. You are a Jedi. But my preferred method of learning is fun environments. So that is what that's where I learn the easiest and the best. So that's how I teach stuff. So when I'm working with energy, when I'm teaching energy, when I'm going down the energy route, I always do it with a smile on my face, and we usually have a laugh because there's a lot of concepts that are just completely mad, baffling, confusing. A little bit out there, my pedigree chums. And that's just the way that we roll. So with energy and with all of these Lionsgate and all of this stuff that we're talking about that's doing the rounds at the moment, all of this awakening can be a little bit of a pain in the backside, my Jedi friends. And I'll tell you why. Because you have to brutally accept the fact that what you thought was real absolutely isn't. Everything that you thought was important or a goal to be heading towards will suddenly fall apart at this stage in the game, which is why relationships will break down, jobs sometimes break down, difficulties will come into your life. And you'll have to navigate all of this. And this is part of the Jedi mastery program of waking up, which can be brutal. It can be really, really brutal, folks. There's the people that don't really talk about this enough, I don't think, because it's quite frequent on this journey to feel really, really low, to feel like it's dense energy, and to actually feel like giving up. What am I doing here? I don't really like this. Did I really plan for this? Is it at all possible that I really had a pre-birth contract that put me through this? Why would I do this to myself? Why would I do this to myself? You may well ask yourself. You may well. You may not. You may be completely oblivious. You may not have woken up yet. You might be thinking, who is this mad bull bloke talking about all of these out there concepts? Well, when I first got into the world of energy, especially when I was a nurse at the time, it was interesting times when I started talking about energy then. So Tom says, watched Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels last night. Of course you did, Tom. Of course you did. That seed has been planted, my pedigree chum. It has to be done. You got to watch Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, where it's all the same crew, isn't it? So, yeah, fair play. Another cracking film that was. Another cracking film. It's all good, friendly fun. Probably not that friendly for the people on the receiving end of the Lock, Stock and the Two Smoking Barrels, but they are proper geezers, aren't they? Proper gangsters. You're going down the proper gangster route. So there's all sorts of those mad ones. Hatchet Harry. They're all the nice people that you'd love to run into in a bar, aren't they? Proper geezers. Oh, I will confess to watching all of the Essex Boys films, like all the films of the lunatic gangs, the drug gangs of the 80s doing their deals, coked out of their minds, running the clubs, running drugs, going down to Ibiza. Those were the days, my pedigree chums. So there you go. Nice, the Greek. Well, fair play to you, Tom. You've obviously had an interesting viewing experience, which I think is where it's all at. I might have to watch a few gangster films myself. As you know, I had my friend. I talked about it last night, but I had my friend. I introduced him. He'd never seen Scarface before, so I said, "Here's a bit of light viewing for you." A nice little light 3-hour film for him. It's got to be done. Well, it's not quite Starseed portal stuff, but you never know. You do need a distraction. Everyone needs an off switch every now and again, especially on the Starseed journey. Let's face it. Let's face it, my friends. We all need to lighten up occasionally. And all of this Lionsgate ascension stuff, I mean, it can be a little bit full on, can't it? Let's be honest. So it's nice occasionally just to let loose and be a little bit, have just a little bit of fun on the journey. Because I think from my experience, I've been on loads of these trainings and workshops, from my Reiki to vortex healing. I went channeling once. That was an out there experience, my friends, I can tell you. And not only that, I did this really out there course once called The Flower of Life. And that was next level. That's stuff I won't even talk about on the live streams, because even by my standards, that is proper out there. It is. But one thing that has been holding it all together is that that seems to be there's not much fun energy. And Tom says, haha, we need more of that, Tom. We need more lightheartedness on this journey, especially when we're talking about ascension, Lionsgate portals, and all this kind of stuff. You know, I think people can take themselves too seriously. It's like, oh, we have to be serious when we're talking about this stuff. And that's not necessarily the case. Chi, get the yay. I'm going to get fun commentary from Tom now, going all the way through. Well, since you're the only one that's commenting, Tom, you go for it, my pedigree chum. You're standing on thin ice. Put the kettle on, Harold. It's all good fun. All good fun. So it'd be interesting for you listening to this thread. What's the most out there training you ever went on? I shall throw out the question. And Tom says, goody gumdrops. That's more snatch references. It's all good fun. But yeah, one of the, I think some of the maddest training, there was a couple of really mad ones I went on. And when I say mad, I mean, I've been on all sorts of different stuff. And there's certain things that change your reality because unless you see it, you never believe it, which is why there's a lot of stuff I've done I won't even talk about. There's no point. There is no point. I know that people just would not believe some of the stuff that I've seen. So there's no point. There's no point going down that route because I did at one stage. When I first went into the road of working with energy, I mean, I went from a nurse background to learning Reiki, vortex healing, all of the other stuff. There's a whole host of them. NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. We did timeline therapy, which is like a regressive therapy that takes you, makes you heal stuff from genealogical places or past lives. It taps into whatever belief system the person that you're working with has. So some pretty out there stuff that we did there. And every single one had a different experience. But the real gifts from all of these different energy tools that I picked up, it was more about the people I met there. Because you meet a certain type of people that's open-minded enough to go to some of the courses I went to, and you meet all sorts. I mean, all sorts. You'd probably, for most of society, if they gate crashed the average training I went on in that sort of area, it would sound like something out of a psychiatric ward. People just would not be able to get their head around it. And that is the beauty. That's actually the beauty of it. You know, because there's a freedom when people are free to just speak and be themselves. And there's some people with some incredible gifts out there as well. So I've got Planet C64 in the building. Am I too late for the Lionsgate? Absolutely not, Planet C64. In fact, I'm just wondering that the Lionsgate might be quite close to Planet C64. That it may already be on your doorstep, my Jedi friend. So let me just summarize for you Planet C64 and anyone that missed the beginning of the stream. Because I went in low and hard today. I sort of covered the whole content in the first 3 minutes of the stream, just in case. So then I was just free to go left field for the rest of it. So the bottom line is, you know, attunements, all of this kind of stuff, you can do yourself. The new age energy is people waking up. And when you truly wake up, you realize that not only were you always attuned, you always had the power to work with energy. We're born here, we're separated, we forget who we are, we forget our true power and our true energy. And the whole attunement process can happen from within. Yes, I know that there's different masters of different human energy systems that are out there that have their own way of doing this, and there's lots of different opinions. But my own personal belief on this subject is that we all have this skill within us, and we either choose to activate ourselves or we don't. Now, a lot of people pay a lot of money to go and have other people activate them, but the truth is, you didn't need that. You didn't need the activation. What you do need is guidance on the way. And what I've realized, I've actually come to a startling awareness here, is the most saleable aspect of what I do in my business is stuff that I did anyway as a mate to my mates. And I think a lot of empaths or people that come with this sort of message fall into that trap. That stuff that they do naturally is actually a very saleable service. Because what I have found when I'm speaking to people now is that there's not many people with real quality friends. Real quality friends, if you hit a brick wall that you could call at 2 in the morning. And the question is, how many people in your network do you have that you could call at 2 in the morning with a crisis and they'd pick up the phone? Now, that's probably a bad analogy for me because I actually set my phone now to flight mode when I go to sleep, because I decided that my sleep is really important, and that there was no for the amount of times that I'd need to take an emergency call at like 2 in the morning. Well, it just it hasn't happened for the last 20 odd years. So it's better to get my sleep. My sleep's really important. So let's do another analogy. I'm sometimes awake at 2 in the morning because I'm a bit of a night owl. And I worked nights for many, many years, for over 10 years. So if I'm left to my own devices, I am up into the middle of the night, which happens quite frequently. And I do have friends that call me at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, mainly because they know that I'll be awake. But I mean, I've been there for my friends at that time, and they've been there for me. And having that sort of friendship network is absolute gold. But a lot of people don't have that. And if you don't have that, then that's a premium service. It's absolute premium service to have someone that actually, let's just say it as it is, gives a shit, that would take the phone and would listen to where you're at. And here's another thing. A lot of people aren't that great at listening either. There's a lot of people that just cannot listen anymore. I've seen this over my lifetime, that getting people that can actually listen, that will let you speak without interrupting, is very, very rare now. It's very rare. And people say the same things. Oh, I had to say that now. Sorry for interrupting. I have to say it now or I'll forget it. And I start thinking, if you were going to forget it, how important was it that you had to interrupt me? You see the irony, the little paradox there? I've thought of something and it's so important, I'm going to interrupt you. I mean, it actually kills the conversation, the people that keep interrupting you. So communication and being a good listener is probably one of the most critical skills in life. In my world, that's just my reality. That is just my reality, my Jedi friends. I wouldn't say that that was the same for everyone, but I mean, that's certainly something that I notice now. Certainly, I pick up now that my friends that all their life have had what some people would diagnose as attention deficit disorder. Part of that is they just interrupt me because they can't be bothered to wait for me to finish because they've thought of something, they have to say it. And to some people, that just might come across as rude. And it is. Just call it what it is. It is bloody rude to interrupt someone. Now, if someone's talking for ages and ages and ages and ages and ages, that's a different game, my Jedi friends. They deserve to be interrupted. But a lot of people can't give you more than like 30 seconds, if you're lucky, before they interrupt you. So there's two aspects of it in communication. Unless you're making a point or telling a story and you can engage people with the story, it pays to get to the point quickly, which I did at the beginning of this video. Now I'm just riffing. I'm just talking for the sake of talking at this stage. But it pays to get to the point quickly, because there's never been a point in human consciousness or my lifetime where attention spans have been so short. I've never seen anything like it. It's like a pandemic. It is a pandemic. Attention deficit disorder, just call it mobile phones. Got to check my phone. I've got to check my phone. I don't have my phone. Who am I without my phone? And the thing is, even I'm fallen into that category now. If I've lost my phone, it's like, oh, hello. But how did I manage 30 years of my life without a mobile phone? And people just can't get their heads around that. And not only that, I feel really grateful at this stage in the game that I got to 30 years without having mobile phones inflicted on me, which meant I had to learn to connect with people. I had to learn to build relationships with people. I wasn't dependent on my phone everywhere I went or needed to check it every 2 minutes. So Planet C64 says, thank you, my favorite. Someone asked me a question and they interrupt immediately when I begin to answer. Well, Planet C64, here's something I do, because I'm older now, and I like to call out rude. I think life's too short. If someone's going to keep doing it to me, I need to call it out. If I'm going to tolerate that, then that's on me. So for the frequent offenders, here's what I use. I might let the first couple go, but if they interrupt me again, here's one of my favorite lines. So once they interrupt me, maybe the third time, I say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry." And they go, "What?" I said, "Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?" And then I just stare at them until it awakens on them what they've done. Calling out bad behavior can be fun if you do it with a smile on your face. And I get it across. I'm like, look, I was making a point. You know, like, I'm like, how rude is it? And people will say stuff like, but if I don't say it now, I would have forgotten. Well, it's not that fucking important, is it? No, it isn't. If you have to interrupt because you might forget it, it tells me you're full of shit. I'm not interested. Time out. Time. Enough. See, the thing is, most people are unchecked and never get called out on bad behavior. Let's start there. And most empaths never call it out. I spent most of my life never calling it out. And then I spent the last few years finding fun ways to stop that nonsense because I didn't appreciate it. I still don't. I put up with it now. If I meet someone new and they do it, I'll let them do the 3 strikes and you're out rule. If they do it the third time, I'll either call it out or I'll walk away. It's happened to me at networking events. I used to run business networking events. And if somebody would come up and interrupt me straight away, I'd quite often say that. I'm sorry, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours? Now, that pretty much kills the relationship before it begins. But I thought, no, why would I put up with this? If this person's pulling this shit and getting away with it, then why would I do that? So I just think a little bit of courtesy goes a long, long way. And unfortunately, in society today, people are they're less patient. They have to interrupt. So for us empaths and starseeds, calling out bad behavior is part of a mental health strategy. And I often work on a 3 strikes and you're out rule. We let the first couple go because we're all guilty of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I interrupt people, but usually there's good reason for it. Sometimes it's just because I'm like, oh no, I just have to say something. But in fairness, as far as society goes and other people go, I'm pretty good at listening. I am. Most of the time, I'm pretty good at listening. Doesn't mean I do it every time, but generally pretty good at it. But most people aren't. Most people are not good listeners, my Jedi friends. They just aren't. And it is to their detriment. Because, let's face it, not all of us know everything. Although that's sort of on the par with what we've been saying. We've got Tom, mate, your sound. Cheers, fella. Cheers, Tom. Likewise, my pedigree chum. It cuts through bone like butter. So yeah, we've gone on a bit of a segue. So let me summarize what I actually said at the beginning of this and what the key message is for this entire thing. So Tom says, so the point is, look, all of this preparedness, all of this, are you activated? Are you ready for this Lionsgate portal? Point is, you're as ready as you want to be. It's time to step up, my Jedi friends. It's time to own your power. It's time to do what you came here to do. It's time to stop taking nonsense. It's time to call out bad behavior. It's time to walk away from narcissists. It's time to sometimes go down a very lonely journey of just being yourself, being authentic to yourself and doing what you came here to do. And sometimes that is incredibly uncomfortable. It's just the way that it rolls. And because the vibration is raising, it means we're going to have to go through a lot of trauma until we wake up to this concept, which is key at the end of it all. So there you go, job done. I did actually finish the point of the message after 3 minutes, but then I just decided I might as well just stay here. And Tom says I'm going full Brick Vader. Fuck it. You can't beat a bit of Brick Vader. A bit of Brick Vader. And for anyone that's on this thread that hasn't got that, if you want the full context of that, then you have to look up Snatch Wars and you'll find some editing gold where somebody's turned Darth Vader into Bricktop from Snatch, which I think is absolute genius and a great bit of fun for anybody that's into it. So there you go, my Jedi friends. There you go. So that's what the Lionsgate portal is. You're all activated. You're all ready. Every one of you, if you're listening now, you're already activated. You're already stepping up and you already know it. If you didn't know it before, hopefully you know it now. And what does this mean? It means you have to tolerate less nonsense. You have to call out bad behavior. You have to do things that you love. You have to say no to stuff that you don't love. You have to end relationships which aren't working for you if they haven't already abruptly ended for you right now. And you have to start focusing on what do you want to spend the rest of your life doing? Because you ain't getting any younger and you're here for a reason. And if there's one reason, if you don't know what that reason is, then just focus on what feels good. How can you spend more of the rest of your life doing things that feel good and less things that don't feel good? And if there's anyone in your life that is a complete offender that makes you feel bad on persistent levels, then my Jedi friends, my pedigree chum, they are standing on thin ice. And it is time that that's shattered. It's time to get rid. It's time to substitute those people. They are not playing well for your team. Tom says, have a good day. I'm going back to bed. My brother's doing my head in. Absolutely, Tom. You do that. Don't let anyone do your head in. It's your energy. It's your day. You do what you want. Do more of what you want and less of what you don't. That is where it's at. That is the message. That's what we're all about. That is your activation. Your activation is to tune in to whatever feels good. And if it doesn't feel good, get rid of it. It's like cancer. Cut it out of your life. And you might think, oh no, it's friend or it's family or it's somebody I've known all my life or it's a friend of the family. Get rid of them. Get rid of them, my friends. They are not serving you. It's not in your best interests. It will not be in your enlightened best interests to keep them in your life if they're draining your energy. It's a bit like if somebody stuck a needle in your vein and you're watching your blood flow out and you're feeling your energy drip, you'd take the needle out, wouldn't you? It's exactly the same with people that drain your energy. If you want to keep that needle in, if you want to keep the energy draining from your life, then keep them in your life and see how long you get on. But eventually it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you, my Jedi friends. It will catch up. And that is something that you don't want. That is a day of reckoning. That is the dark night of the soul. That is the awakening. The awakening. That is when you'll be angry enough or low energy enough just to say no to everything that doesn't work. And sometimes we need more pain before we actually get the results and the breakthrough. So there you have it. There you have it. There is the message. And it actually does feel complete, my pedigree chums. So unless there's any other questions or anything you want to know or any comments, anything you'd like to share, which you're very welcome to share, very welcome, then I will probably be tuning off in a couple of minutes. And Planet C64 says, perfect message. Tune in to what feels good, ditch what drains your energy, and we're not too late for the Lionsgate. Absolutely not. There's always another gate. There's always another energy portal. There's always another planetary alignment. There's always going to be messages. This is it. This is the moment. The moment happens. Let's face it. You know, if you're like me, you're 50 plus years of age. You've waited this long. Another couple of days or a month here or there. It's neither here nor there, is it? You know, if you wake up today or next month, that's still fairly good in the bigger picture of life and what it's all about. And the day that you actually prioritize your own needs and your own energy and ditch all of the stuff let's face it, the BS in your life. Anyone that's just there draining it, the same old drony nonsense that you have to listen to, you don't have to listen to it. Exit stage left. And Tom says, he keeps ringing me. He wanted to crack me skill open last week with a hammer. I'm assuming that's your skull, Tom, but your skill. Maybe he wants your skill as well with a hammer. He's trying to crack your skill open. Tom's under assault here. So listen to that, my Jedi friends. If there's anything less than people trying to crack your skull open with a hammer, and you're moving in the right direction. And, you know, it's never too late to awaken. It's never too late to wake up. It's never too late to draw lines and set healthy boundaries on your energy and the people around you. Because there's a lot of people that will take the piss for as long as you allow them to take the piss. So there it is. So Planet C64, I've got 3 love hearts and thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Planet C64. This is the message. This is the message, my Jedi friends. Take no nonsense. And Tom says you're right. He drains me. Yeah, family especially. And between you and me, Tom, I hardly have anything to do with my family these days. I was that black sheep, and they just don't get me at all. Just don't get me. And even to the point of making shit up. And I've gone past the point of caring at this stage. Just let them get on with it. Just let them get on with their silly little lives and do their own thing. And I will get on with mine because I have a bigger mission and a bigger purpose in life. And maybe part of it, as some lesson, is that I had to walk my separate way from my family because I've got a bigger purpose. I've got stuff. I've got my vibe tribe to connect with. I've got this message to put out there to help wake people up. That's part of the game here. Planet C64 says, found fam is where it's at. Well, that's it. You will realize that you've got the family you're born with that teach you all your lessons, where you find your boundaries, and you've got your vibe tribe or your spirit family. And you wake up to that, you find them the moment that you stop worrying about any other routes. You find them through your life, and then you realize that they're still there years later. And I look back now, and I mean, the support network I have through my vibe tribe are all met through these trainings. And I'm very fortunate to have, you know, good friends that I can lean against when I hit the brick wall. So it's very important, my Jedi friends, to be true to yourself, to wake up, and to cut out any of the energy in your life that isn't working for you. Do that and you will feel better. And there it is. My little message summarized succinctly. And on that note, my Jedi friends, I'm going to sign off now because I think we have covered this pretty well today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all of the good work that you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you all awaken and shine your light brightly during the Lionsgate portal. You'll be a shining star at the Lionsgate. Take care, my Jedi friends. Have fun and shine your light.